what about some critics who say that perhaps, frankly, this is not an appropriate award? I mean, this is something that I have discussed and debated with the founder himself, Mo Ibrahim. And he says, well, people are given Nobel Prizes for doing exactly what they do. They are researchers, they are professors, and they are rewarded for their excellent research. Do you really think that this is the way to go in terms of promoting good governance on the continent? Or perhaps should the criteria really change a bit so that some individuals can be recognized for their contributions, just like the Nobel Peace Prize, for example? Because some people say, look, a lot of African leaders, if they really want money, they can make that money in a day. Why should they wait for Mo Ibrahim to bribe them for doing what they're supposed to do or what they don't want to do? As a matter of fact, Yoweri Museveni, the Ugandan president, is on record having said that he is not a poor man, and therefore he doesn't worry about being in running for that sort of award.
Well, Shaka, I think the issue of the award itself, I think as our my colleague has already spoken, stands on its own. It is to promote excellence. And given Africa's track record, I think it's a high time that someone like Mo Ibrahim stepped up and actually put his money where his mouth is in terms of promoting excellence. Mm-hmm. It's not about trying to get African leaders to become rich. As you've said, some of them are so rich they don't need that kind of little money. But just like the Nobel Prize, that has really not just the money attached to it, but the prestige of it. I think we in Africa have to begin to strive towards a system of excellence that begins to actually recognize good leaders. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it was Kwesi Ama, the Ghanaian novelist, who in 1968, in his book, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born,
and why are we so blessed?
Bemoaned the fact that we did not have good leaders emerging since independence that were able to at least begin to take care of the yearnings of the masses. And 50 or so years, or close to that, since that acclaimed book came out, we are still, of course, talking about it. And so if we have an award now that begins to put a yardstick towards measuring excellence, and of course, it is tied to improving the lot of the masses in Africa, I think it's a wonderful first step. In fact, we should be trying to, encourage others to come forward, and maybe they may have other lesser, awards for more important achievements, but we should still have this very high award given for those that have done their part in trying to promote all aspects of human existence within their respective countries and didn't sit tight for too long.
Didn't sit tight for too long. Eric, how about your response to that question?
Yes, thanks, Shaka. Well, let me say a couple of things. First of all, this award seeks to serve as an incentive to African leaders, and it's a conscious decision by Dr. Ibrahim to provide that incentive. One, when you think about the fact that when things go wrong in a country, you don't say, things are wrong in Zimbabwe, it's the Minister of Finance who's to blame. You invariably just say Mugabe. If something is wrong in Congo, you say Kabila. If something is wrong in Cameroon, you say Biya, and so on. So there's something about that position that we all tend to have our eyes on. And if we can, as Professor Ukata just said, if we can improve the quality of performance at that level, we may begin to achieve something critically important. One is change the narrative on leadership in Africa. You know, most people, when they think about leadership in Africa, they still talk about the Mobutus of this world and the Idi Amins and so on. We want to change that. We want to talk about the Chisanos and the Pireses of this world, and the Mogais and Mandelas. You know, we want. That's part of this process. The prize also allows people in office to be able, when they come out, to have a life after leaving office. You know, the money, the resources would give them the wherewithal to support their favorite charities, to do the kinds of things they've wanted to do when they were in office but couldn't. There are those now who support girls' education. There are others who support peace initiatives like President Chisano, climate change like President Mugai, and so on. They can do that now, and they didn't have to resort to the state coffers to be able to do something they believe in. And excellence is not for everybody. So we're not obviously expecting that all African leaders all of a sudden would want to achieve the prize and therefore achieve excellence. But there are those in office now who, because they know they can aspire to this, will do the right thing. And it is to them that this award is being addressed.
But Eric, what about some who say, wait a minute, President Barack Obama, when he addressed African leaders and the African people from the Ghanaian capital, Accra, back in 2009, he talked about how Africa did not, in fact, need strong men. What it needs are strong institutions.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. And, you know, you'd realize, again, from the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, that we, as much as we put emphasis on the quality of leadership and we provide an award to incentivize leaders, we're also doing a whole lot more to help in building those, well, to help in determining what services citizens expect and actually have.
You have 30 seconds.
We produce the index. You know, the index is supposed to give us, to shed some light on all of that, and we can talk about the index later. We also do a whole lot in terms of promoting youth leadership with the fellowship program and the scholarship program. So there's a whole lot going on beyond this single prize that tends to be the focus of everybody.
I see. How do you respond to someone who actually asked me to ask you this question, that why do you, in fact, for a major African award, why do you have to make an announcement from European soil? Why not do it like you did it some time back from Cape Town in South Africa?
Well, no, thank you, and it's a very good question, I think. The reason's extremely simple. You know well that we can reach Africa a lot more conveniently from London, and not only Africa, but the rest of the world. And that's we want to take the word out from about Africa to the rest of the world. So we're making this announcement to Africa, but it's a global announcement, and we it's a lot more efficient, more effective. Doing so from London, of course, as soon as the infrastructure allows, and whenever that's possible, this announcement will take place in Africa. But at this time, I'm sure you'll agree, and most of your viewers will agree, that London is certainly the best place to do that if we want to target a global audience.